Hey everyone, and welcome back to Ontario Cryptids. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I just want to let you know that before we get started that I might do a last-minute stream this weekend. I'll leave a comment in the community tab if I do. Okay, if you have an encounter that you would like to share, then please forward your stories to OntarioCryptids@gmail.com. I would be honored to share your story with like-minded people. Now sit back and relax as we begin with today's episode. This encounter takes place January 2003. We're heading to Jasper County, Texas, and the nearest city is Jasper. My friend and I were at my uncle's house. We were on the back porch playing darts. We started to notice that there were a lot of meteors. We stepped into the backyard to get a better view. We were facing towards the front yard. I was looking up when I noticed something move out of the corner of my eye. I looked and there was a creature around 5 foot tall running through the front of the yard, from left side of the yard to the right side. It was not large like most reports. It had muscle definition, black or dark brown hair, no neck, no hair on the face, chest, and stomach area inside the arms or palms of the hands. My friend and I both saw this thing, but it wasn't big like most people describe. It was just going through his yard at kind of a slow pace until it saw us. Then it ran faster than anything I have ever seen, and I live in the woods and go hunting. I was thinking, what was that? I was quiet for a while. I didn't want to say anything and sound crazy, and hey, I just saw a Bigfoot. I looked at my friend Aaron. He had a strange look on his face, and he was shaking his head. He looked at the same spot in the yard. I asked, "Did you see something?" He replied, "Yes." I then asked, "Did it look like it was on 2 legs, running upright?" He replied, "Yes." Then my heart really skipped a beat. Not only did I just see something, but my friend did too. My friend said he didn't see it that well, but he saw it and it looked like it was running upright on 2 legs. I saw it good. It wasn't a deer or a pig or anything I have ever seen before. It was black and had areas where it didn't have any hair. In those areas, there was shiny skin. If it was someone in a suit, they must have spent a lot of money because I could see its muscle moving, and it would have had to have been the shortest track and field star in the world to fit in a suit that small, but I didn't even think a track and field star could run that fast. It was going at a slow jog, and then it must have smelt or heard us. It slowed down, turning its head while slowing down. Then it stopped, looked at us for around 3 to 4 seconds. Then it ran towards the dark area of the yard. It ran so fast, no man could run that fast. It was out of the light where we couldn't see it, like in a couple of seconds. It must have covered 75 yards in 3 seconds. It was fast. But there wasn't any smell or strange odor. But after that, we did hear something in the woods. It might not have been what we saw, it could have been anything, but it seemed like whatever it was in the woods was close to us, and I just had this feeling that whatever it was watching us. The front yard has a large light pole, and it lights up the whole front yard. The backyard where we were was dark, and a creature ran through the front yard. My friend Aaron saw the creature too. He says he saw it and could tell that it was on 2 legs. He said he couldn't really see any really good details. He only saw it when it was running away from us on 2 legs. He was stargazing before the thing ran out. My uncle didn't see the creature. He said, "You all didn't see anything. You all are just messing with me." After that, we went inside and nothing else happened. We continued to talk about what we saw. My uncle said that we were both crazy. For this encounter, we're heading to Wiminute Wilderness in Colorado. The date of this is unknown. I remember the time I heard some strange shit when I worked for the Forest Service in Wimineuch Wilderness in Colorado. A buddy Pat and I were both wilderness monitors, a glorified name for a person that identifies points, places, erosions, and destructions for GIS, and gets paid basically nothing. It's just a place to stay and enough to get drunk after we're done. Best job ever. Seriously. We would go out to remote parts of the wilderness to map for 5 to 8 days at a time. I have backpacked alone for longer times, and not much scares me. I have learned that the greatest thing you have to fear is what your mind will create. Pat was a hilarious dude and good company, so we never had much trouble. However, in June and August, it gets pretty rainy up there, so in the morning, if it wasn't raining, we would get work done, and in the afternoon, we would smoke weed and play gin rummy of hours on end. Thing is, it was effing beautiful. We would be miles and miles away from anyone. We would find lakes that were not on maps and had no trails. Never see a soul up there. We were in a basin on an offshoot of another canyon. The area where we were in, you couldn't hike in from the canyon. It was too steep and rocky. You had to hike basically over the mountain and drop into the area. We were there for 6 days. It rained basically the whole time, so we would hunker down, smoke, play cards, read, and nap. In the quiet beauty, we would watch as lonesome clouds moved up the canyon near us and listen to the taps of rain on the tent. One afternoon, trapped again by the rain, I was close to napping. I heard a noise. Now remember, there was no one up here, and we hadn't seen people in a couple of days, so any noise was very obvious. First, I played it off. Could it be elk or a mountain lion? It was far off. 20 seconds later, I hear it again, closer this time. A moan or a wail. It was echoing through the trees. You couldn't see a thing. I was in my tent with 2 pint-sized windows at the top, and everything was forest around us. Pat reacted to this one. I hear him say, "Dude." Then the wail again, much closer, low and loud. Every hair on my body is on end. The sound almost washes past us. This time I stammered, "Okay, what the Pat?" I'm trying to see where it's coming from and trying to see where my Polinsky is for any form of protection. Pat answered, "I have no idea." And he is cut off by a wail maybe 15 feet away, loud and moving quickly. I didn't know how to react. I just sat on my hunches all alone from the world, looking out into the empty forest. It looking back at me. Each of us seeing nothing. The wail happened one more time. It sounded as if it dropped into the canyon next to us. The canyon that was impossible to get into from where we were. Thing was, the whole thing happened in about a minute. The basin we were in was not large, but I would say 1 mile plus across, and the whale moved from the farthest sounding point into the canyon in that amount of time. Through forest and over jagged rocks. Nothing could do that. Not a mountain lion, not a sort of bird. Remember, it was low and dense. A bird couldn't efficiently fly through that forest at that speed. Pat and I didn't talk much after that time. I really haven't been back to that basin. Man, I just realized I have many frightening wood stories. This event takes place around July 10th of 2023. We're heading to Payne County, Oklahoma, and the nearest city is Stillwater. Hello, V. Today is Monday, July the 24th, around 5:44 my time. I'm giving this information as to best keep the dates straight. 2 weeks ago, I was changing the water in my stock tank for my donkey when a dark-colored SUV stopped. I thought it was one of my buddies and his brother out and about drinking beer and back-roading. I just glanced over my shoulder, but I didn't take a good look. "What do you say, girls?" I said, Bounty. I was waiting for a chuckle or a girls yourself comment, but I got a groan that I didn't recognize. When I looked up, I've seen a man and a woman approaching me. "What can I do for you?" I asked. The woman answered, "We bought some property and built a house on the ridge a few years ago, and we have a Bigfoot getting into our chicken coop." I didn't look at her. I continued filling up the stock tank with water. I asked, "How do you know it's a Bigfoot?" "It tore into our chicken coop, killed 2 chickens, and ate a couple of dozen eggs." "Sounds like a hungry coyote to me," I answered. I was aggravated by the audacity of 2 strangers just stopping by my house and walking around like they owned the place. "Can you help us?" the woman asked. "I can rebuild you a stout coyote-proof coop, but seeing how I didn't build the first coop, you better ask the original builders to fix it." I think they could sense that I was trying to run them off without point-blank telling them to beat it. The woman then said, "We have pictures of it." "Show me, please," I said. The woman then showed me her tablet that had a picture of footprints in soft ground. I looked in silence as she showed me several sets of tracks. I noticed that the set of prints that allowed me to know exactly the species of animals that made the tracks. "It's not a Bigfoot," I said. "What is it then?" the man asked. "A black bear," I answered. "A big one for this region, but a black bear nonetheless. When a black bear walks, he will put the rear foot in the same spot where he puts his front paw, and then the overlapping makes the footprint look bigger and like a Bigfoot footprint." "What can we do about the bear?" the man asked. "I don't know," I answered. "Go ask a game warden. They'll tell you how to deal with them." "Thanks," the lady said, and got into their SUV and drove off. I finished my chores. It took me 2 weeks of me wondering why the couple stopped and told me about the bear getting into their chicken coop. Last Saturday, I was at my local DG store when I encountered the woman and I asked her why they came to me. "We have a mutual friend that said that you were interested in Bigfoot and we thought you could help us." "What did the game warden say to do with the bear problem?" I asked. "Put up an electric fence around the chicken coop and that should work." I just gave her a thumbs up and I walked away. 2 days after the couple stopped by my house, I was shown a picture of a bear on a game camera less than 1/8 of a mile from the chicken coop. And sure enough, it was a big black bear, an old one by the looks of him, but a big one for my region. Some people want to see Bigfoot so badly that they see Bigfoot in the shadows and in the trees. I hope you all enjoyed these encounter stories today, and I would like to thank CWL for submitting the last one you heard. I agree, there are a lot of incidents where Bigfoots are misidentified. I think, for instance, a lot of people see faces in the forest when it's simply pareidolia. Before I let you all go, thanks to all the new subscribers and those who like and leave a comment. I just ask that your comments are respectful. If these stories reminded you of an encounter that you may have had and would like to share, then please forward your stories to OntarioCryptids@gmail.com. I'd be honored to share your story on this channel. Thank you for listening until the end. I truly appreciate it. Please hit the like button on your way out and smash the subscribe button if you're new to my channel. Have yourselves a great weekend, and I hope to see you all next week right here on Ontario Cryptids.